Hi guys, wanted to talk about one of the common things I'm seeing a lot when I'm helping customers on their parts and some of the questions that I'm getting in the training classes. And that has to do with doing some facing work. So I thought I would use this part to show some different facing options that we can do. I haven't created a setup yet, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and create a setup by clicking on the setup button. And I like where the UCS is located. I also the orientation is correct. So let's just go over to the stock tab. Now in this, I'm going to use a relative size box. I'm going to add sides, stock to the sides and top bottom. So for the side offset, let's put 100 thousandths of stock on each side. And then for the top offset, let's put a fair amount up there. Let's throw a quarter of an inch. And let's put a quarter of an inch on the bottom so we can hang on to it in the vise. So our final size is going to be about 12.2 in length, 2.2 inches in width, and 1.25 inches in thickness. Nothing really else to do, so we'll go ahead and choose the OK button. So let's jump into the face command and go through some things that I see that happen an awful lot. To do that, I'm going to go to the 2D menu and select 2D face, and then go select a tool. I'm going to grab a tool out of the tutorial inch folder that you can find in the samples, and I'm going to use the 2-inch face mill. So right away, the first tab that comes up, let's take a little tour through the tabs. The first tab is the tool tab. This is the tool that we're going to cut with. The speeds and feed rates for all these different parameters down here. When you create the tool in the library, this is what automatically populates, but you can go through and change this at any time to whatever value you want. The geometry tab. This is the region you want the tool to cut. Sometimes we need to specify a region and sometimes we don't. If we look at the heights tab, again, when you're getting started, the two that I want you to pay the most attention to, especially if you're not working with clamps on the table, are going to be the top height and the bottom height. This is where the cut is going to start and how deep the cut is going to go. Let's go look at the passes tab. Some changes here, like things we can do. This is what happens when the cutter is engaged in the material. So step over, step down, things like that. In the linking tab, this is how the cutter enters the material, exits the material, and transitions between toolpath cuts. So let's jump to the tool tab. I already grabbed my tool number 1, which is a 2-inch face mill. For the geometry, here's where the issue generally comes in. If you think about doing a facing operation, we're really not facing the part, we're facing the stock down to the top of the part. So one of the common things I see people do is, the other visual cue is it tells us that nothing's selected. There's nothing selected. Usually when you see that, that means we have to select something. So I see people start doing this. They start clicking on these regions as the area that they want to face. And I'm just going to hit OK, and let's see what we get for Toolpath. So you can see it sort of did it, but it's not going to be the result that we want. When we tell Fusion that those areas are what we're clicking on, we're telling Fusion that that's where the actual stock is located, and there's no other stock. So you can see it's doing a more of a rapid move here and a cutting feed rate move here because it thinks there's no material between these two little bosses, but obviously there is. So let's go take a look back at the geometry tab and throw the X away. What we're seeing right now is the yellow box represents the size of our stock. So almost always with facing operations, you don't have to make any geometry choices. You can just select the stock contours as it is, the outside bounds of your stock. Let's click OK and see what the difference is. Now notice our higher speed feed moves are only outside of the stock and not across the part itself. Let's edit this and go through some more options. On the heights, we have some intelligence built into the facing operation right off the bat. So let's look at the top height. I want you to focus on where it says it's cutting from. So it currently says it's cutting from the stock top and it's cutting to the model top. So stock top to model top, which is exactly what we'd want a facing operation to do. So really no changes need to be made to the heights tab unless you want to leave some material for a final cleanup skim or something like that. Hop over to the passes tab. And on the passes, some things to think about here. Anytime you see a toolpath direction question inside of Fusion Cam, 0 degrees is always going to be aligned with the x-axis. So if I look at this, once I hit the OK button, I know exactly the direction that this toolpath is going to go. Now it could be, maybe you're going to run out of travel. This is a fairly long part, 12 inches in one direction, only a couple inches in the other. And so if that was the case, you could simply come in here and type in, you want 90 degrees, and it's going to face it back and forth instead of going the long way. For our purposes, we'll leave this at 0. The pass extension will extend the cut at the beginning and the end of the part. It's going to be the same both ways. So sometimes this isn't as desirable. There's a different way I'm going to show you how we can kind of change that. The stock offset. Here's a great case. If you guys remember, when we set up the stock in this part, it was 2.2 inches wide, and we're using a 2-inch face cutter. So one of the things we might want to do is we can just offset the stock a little bit. So I'm going to say the stock is actually, excuse me, 1/4 of an inch wider than what it really is. So what that means is it's going to be a 1/2 inch wider and a 1/2 inch longer than what we specified when we created the stock setup. Another thing that I think is pretty cool is this step over amount. It's currently set to 1.9 inches. And if you remember, we used a 2-inch facing cutter. So Fusion made a pretty intelligent decision there, and we can see how it came up with that decision by right-clicking and editing the expression. When I come in here, you'll see that there's a formula that's doing a mathematical maximum between these two values and deciding which one's bigger and placing it into that field. I can simply type in 1.8, and now if I were to edit the expression is simply 1.8. So what happens if you made that change and you went, man, I really want to go back to that formula? If that's the case, we can right-click on that field and choose Reset to Built-in Default. And now when we edit the expression, that original formula is going to be back there. So a handy way to do that should you ever make a change and you wanted to go back to what the original way was. The direction type. Currently it's set to go both ways. We can also change it to climb or conventional cut, and we'll take a look at the differences on what that does. Actually, why don't we just go ahead and click OK right now to accept that. So in both ways, it's going to make one pass across, do a turn, make another pass across. If I were to edit that and go back to the passes and tell it I only want a climb cut or conventional cut, you'll see that it makes the pass, retracts, goes back to the beginning, and makes the second pass across. So that's a way we can make it only climb cut or conventional cut. Usually climb cutting is the preferred method there. All right, let's change that back to both ways. If we look at where it's leading in, we can see it's coming down where the red arrow is and leading up where the green arrow is. If we edit that and go back to the passes, we could choose from other side. And now when I click OK, you can see it's leading in over here and leading out on the other side. So maybe I have a tool setter or 4th axis or something down here, and I want to make sure that I lead in from the right side of the part. That's how we can make a change like that. I'll edit that and go back to the passes. Let me turn from other side on. Now, use chip thinning. This is a really cool option if you're using harder materials. You don't want the cutter to just plow right into the material and kind of shock the cutter. Instead, we can kind of ease into it. So I'll hit OK and you'll see what happens there. So here you can see the cutter is rolling into the material and it cuts through, and then it rolls back into the material again. So we're not just shocking the cutter straight into the material. Jump back over to the passes. I'm going to uncheck that. Another thing, if you remember, we've got a 1/4 inch of material that I left on top of this part. So maybe that is too much stock to leave on the top of the part. I'm going to come here and change my maximum step down to be, I'm going to take an 1/8 inch per pass. So if I hit 0.125 and we hit OK now we'll see that it's doing that in 2 step arounds. We'll edit that again, go back to the passes. We can also choose to add a finishing step and a finishing feed rate and specify what that finishing step down is going to be. So maybe we'll slow this down to 30 inches a minute and we'll do a 15 thousandths final finishing step. So what we're going to see is we'll have the 2 step downs, and then it leaves a final step down of 15 thousandths that's programmed at a different feed rate than the 2 roughing step downs. Let's edit that again, go into the passes. I'm going to uncheck the finishing step. So we're just going to get 2 1/8 inch step downs. And I also want to change this to be, I'm just going to climb cut this. So if we hit OK, let's look at our changes that we just made again. So we'll see, makes one pass, goes back, makes the other pass, comes back to the beginning, makes another pass, comes back to the beginning. So you can see the multiple depths that it's taking. I'm going to edit that and go to the linking tab and kind of show you one of the final changes that I like to make a lot. And that is extend before retract. So before I do that, let's just go ahead and look at this from a top view and simulate the toolpath with the stock on. I'm going to change it to a different material. I'm going to change it to tail, and I'm also going to change it to wall paint. I think that's an easier one to look at. So we'll hit play, and what I want to do is illustrate what happens. So as soon as the center of the cutter's past the part, or actually on the edge of the stock, it retracts off. What can happen though is if your machine's out of tram, that potentially the cutter is still cutting on the backside of the cut, and will leave like a little surface mark imperfection, kind of where the tooling is still spinning. So let's go and see if we can make that a little bit better. So I'm going to edit that toolpath. I'm going to go to the linking tab, and I want to turn on this box called extend before retract. And what that's going to do is it extends the cutter by the half the diameter of the cutter off the stock before it retracts. So let's simulate that same toolpath again. Hit play. Now we'll just turn the stock on, and you can see now the entire cutter gets off of the part before it retracts off. So that will help to eliminate the backside cutting marks that you might see on your finish of your part, have you not turned that on. Go ahead and hit close on that. So hopefully those are some nice changes that you haven't played around with yet inside of Fusion for the facing environment. And as I said, one of the things I often like to do is the extend before retract. And that's one of those things that I don't want to remember changing all the time. So in order to lock that in, I could try to set that as a default. So for instance, if I wanted to go to the passes tab and keep this maximum step down distance, or let's do it with a step over. If I right click, I could say, make that the default. And every time I do a facing operation, that's the value that I'm going to come up with. If I go to the linking tab and I try to right click on this box, I can't set that as a default by doing that. All it does when I right click on it is it unchecks the box for me. So instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over to the operation, right click and choose compare and edit. Now this is all the potential options plus a few more that you would have inside of that facing operation. So this is all 5 tabs displayed at once. And I'm going to use this little search box at the bottom, and I'm going to type in extend. And when I do, I'll get extend before retract. I'm going to right click on it here and say make it default, and I'll click OK. Now, if we were to check that to make sure everything worked, if I come back and do another 2D face and I go to the linking tab, there you can see extend before retract is now set up. I hope that helps with some of the facing questions. Remember, oftentimes you do not have to choose a region on your geometry tab for where you want the facing operation to go. You're going to face the bounds of the stock, not the part itself. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you found the information useful, it would be great if you'd subscribe. Thank you.